Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 8th episode of the Launch Buddies podcast. I'm your host, Darian, and I'm joined by my amazing co-hosts, Barb and Andrew. It's so good to see you both again today.
Hey guys, great to see you again this morning. I'm feeling fantastic and ready to launch into today's discussion about our favorite things that bring us joy and continue to foster our social connections and hopefully bring some encouragement to others. I love these Saturday mornings when we can meet together as a group and share in some great moments of connection, record this podcast, and shoot some videos.
I feel the same way, Barb. That's why I'm excited for this episode of our podcast. Today is all about celebrating the things that make us happy and create meaningful connections with others. I can't wait to hear what our buddies have to share.
Same here, Andrew. Our buddies bring us so much joy and inspiration to this podcast, and their unique perspectives always light up the studio. Throughout the morning, we'll be bringing them in to share the things that bring them joy.
It's going to be a delightful and uplifting conversation, Darian. We all know how important it is to find those special things that make us smile and help us connect with others on a deeper level.
I know that is true for me. Whether it's a hobby, a favorite activity, or a simple pleasure, these moments of joy have the power to bring us together and create lasting memories.
So get ready to be inspired, entertained, and maybe even discover something new that brings you joy. Today's episode is all about celebrating the little things that make life brighter.
I'm very excited about our buddies who just came into the studio, and we have Jay and Sam with us right now, Darian.
We do.
And we have our topic today talking about the things that bring us joy. And we had a conversation a little bit earlier when people were coming into the studio about, you guys, I don't share this same joy of movies that are scary and other kind of things that are scary, but I know Sam likes those kind of things. Sam, right. What is the title of one of the shows that really brings you joy? Why does it bring you joy?
Because it's a farm show.
It is? So what is the farm show? What is it about?
Actually, it's 10 seasons.
10 seasons. So it's been going for a while, right?
Yes.
Okay, what are some of your favorite characters in that?
Seth Armstrong.
Why is Seth Armstrong awesome?
I shouldn't use last names.
Oh, it's a show, right?
It's a show.
I think it's okay.
But I'm trying not to say his real name in real life.
You're learning some really good skills about being careful about when you use people's names and when it's okay and when it's not okay.
He's one of the best characters.
Why?
He brings joy to people.
He brings joy to you, doesn't he?
And he goes to visit people at the bar place in England.
Okay, so is the setting in England the whole show?
Yep, it is.
Okay. Wow. So you've got that character. What are the other characters? They have
old cars. I'm not going to name all the characters. They have old cars, old buses, and they also have Pa, who runs the farm.
And does Pa bring you a lot of joy?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's an English guy.
And is he funny or no?
Yes, he is.
Oh, he is. Okay.
He's really the good guy.
Okay, so he's the good guy in the series?
Yes. Noah's the worst character because he's the Dingle family.
Oh, no. Dingle family. Is that the last name?
Yes.
That's a kind of funny last name. So how often do you watch this show?
I watch it a lot in my time.
Okay. Do you watch it with other people?
Yes, I do.
And that helps you to connect with other people?
Like people who are older.
Oh, of course. So you find that people who are older tend to enjoy this show?
Yes, like people are in their 20s and they're enjoying it.
Oh, okay. What about your parents? Do they enjoy it?
Yes, because since I'm out of 18, I do that all.
You get to watch some more shows that you're interested in.
Yes.
You don't have to be worried about the shows that are more geared to younger people. You get to explore a little bit more. And I know that you are working really well on keeping private those things that you got to know when to share things and when not to share things.
Actually, I have to watch it after my job because if I just watch it on my job and when it's not break, I get fired.
Oh, you do not want to watch movies or shows or be on your cell phone when you're at work, right?
That's correct.
You get fired.
That is how you get fired. What would happen, Darian, if you were on the job and you were just on your cell phone the whole time doing what you enjoy?
That would make me unreliable. There's work to be done, and there's a time and place for everything.
That is very true.
Your phone or taking random breaks. Taking break, yes, is important, but don't abuse breaks. Don't abuse what you have, and just stay focused on what you got to do, but definitely, don't veer off. Don't get off task. It's important to stay on task because your coworkers and your managers, your supervisors count on you to do the job that you have before you.
Do you think it brings your boss joy if you're doing something that you should be enjoying on your personal time? Jay, what do you think? Because you have a job.
In the 6 years I've been at my job, I've really nailed my 10-minute break.
Okay. And you don't extend it past that 10 minutes, right? Because your boss would not like that.
No.
I don't think so either. So do you agree with that, Darian? I know you take breaks at work too, and we want to make sure that you don't extend it too long, right?
That's
and
right.
that you're doing things that are appropriate. Yeah?
The only break I take is lunch. I'm a workaholic.
You just power through.
I do.
You power through.
I like to get the job done. I like to get things done, the things that need to get done. I'm always get everything done in the moment, but I find that being productive really helps me throughout the day. And it's good.
Yeah, it is good. And Sam, you were going to say something
and
as well.
I have connected with you on Wednesdays, Darian.
You have. That's right.
Is that a day that you reach out to Darian and you send a text or something like that?
A messenger.
That's right.
Once in a while, instead of Wednesdays, I do it once in a while on weekends, like connect with him.
Those connections are really important throughout the week. And you don't want to spend too much time or pester. I would use that word, pester.
Right.
You don't want to bother somebody when they're supposed to be working. There are times when people are encouraging you to connect with other people. Maybe like we talked about in our previous podcast, that sometimes you don't really want to connect with people because maybe they don't share your same interests or they're just not somebody you get along really well with. But sometimes you do need to interact with people and be appropriate and have nice conversations. Yeah. And I think that's what you're talking about.
And I learned on Jeopardy, the poster said of the guy that said, you connect with people all day, deal with it. He was being rude.
You thought that was rude.
Yes.
I think it's really important to know when you're being rude or what kind of things could hurt people's feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way you phrase things could come across as rude, but you can also rephrase things to make it positive and fun and uplifting but still get your point across.
Yeah. But we connect with people every day.
We do.
Everyday life.
Lots of practice in everyday life to make sure that we're building relationships and not hurting people's feelings.
It takes time.
It does. It takes a lot of time to build relationships and to feel comfortable and for people to trust you. Jay, we were talking about your experiences at work and how important it is. There are things that you really enjoy. And there are ways to connect with people and tell maybe the residents about things that you're interested in. But if you just sat and talked about all of those things and never got your work done, that wouldn't be good, right? There are times to talk about things like Everfree or your other experiences, even your recent health experiences, that there's a time and a place for those conversations, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And so we want to be mindful of those things while we're at work, but in our free time and when we're connecting with other people, that's when you should share those things.
Actually, part of my job is for the residents to get to know me.
That's right. That is part of what you're doing on the job is building relationships with the residents.
Yes.
And so you get a chance to be open and communicate with them and share your experiences and your stories in your day-to-day life. That's awesome.
Actually, a lot of the staff have that privilege.
They do. Yeah. And so that's a common thing at your work. But let's think about Darian at his work, just doing his data analytics and processing information that comes into the petroleum company. If you were off talking to your coworkers about random things, that's not part of your job description. It would take you off task.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When on break, that's the time to talk. And when it comes to work, everybody's working. Everybody in my company is working, focused on what they have to do and the task before them.
Okay.
So definitely there's a time and place where we do enjoy our company. We do talk about things. We get together. We get to know each other if we don't know each other all that well. But yes, there is a time and place to be talking, and then there's a time and place to be focusing. And if you're talking about stuff on and on when you're supposed to be working, then you don't get the job done. You don't get the tasks before you. They build up, they stack up.
Right.
And so it's definitely important to stay focused at the time frame of when you need to get things done. But then when it's break time.
And you're really there getting paid to do a job.
Exactly.
So it's, in a sense, it's stealing. If you are off task and not doing what you're expected to do on the job, somebody's paying you, it's stealing from your employer. And we would never do that. And so, hey, we're going to take a little bit of a break and we'll talk in just a second, but we want to focus today on all those things that bring us joy, like Sam and his movies and his interests with the series, the TV series that he likes.
Connecting with people.
And connecting with people.
Don't forget that.
I won't forget that. I know, Jay, you brought in your framed picture from Comic-Con. That's something that brings you a lot of joy. And Darian, you brought your composition book, and that brings you a lot of joy to do your writing every day. And you're sharing things that really are meant to encourage other people and motivate them.
Definitely.
We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Enjoying the Launch Buddies podcast? We're all about celebrating the voices of self-advocates who bravely break down barriers. Speaking of brave advocacy, let's take a moment to recognize our sponsor, SDES Functional Academics. SDES offers a comprehensive curriculum, training, and consultation for students with disabilities. Their Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics has been refined with input from educators and families, achieving great success in classrooms nationwide. As Launch Buddies, we understand the challenges of finding the right education. With SDES by your side, you'll feel confident and empowered to provide an exceptional education for every child in your program. Visit sdesworks.com to learn more about the Steyer-Fitzgerald program for functional academics and make a real difference in your teaching. Thank you, SDES, for your commitment to inclusivity and accessibility. Now let's dive back into our conversation that's so captivating with our amazing Launch Buddies.
And we are back. I also want to thank SDES Functional Academics for providing this studio space to use every week. Be sure to visit their website at www.sdesworks.com to learn more about their fantastic programs and services.
And now we get a chance to talk to Andrew. He's in the studio with us as well. And Andrew, our topic for today is the thing that brings you joy. And the thing that you spend time with, maybe in your personal time, connecting with others, not something that you necessarily do at work, but the thing that really captures your interest and brings you joy. What is that for you?
One of the things is my 3 birds.
That's so cool, Andrew. I love that you have a real personal interest in birds. They're beautiful too. I've seen pictures and videos of your birds. And your 3 birds' names are?
Leia, Daisy, and Teeny.
That's right. And you've had Leia the longest.
Yeah.
How long has that been?
Since I was 13.
Okay. Where did you get Leia?
I got her at a bird store
Okay.
that breeds them.
And did you get all 3 of them from the same place?
I got 2 from the same place and 1 from a private breeder.
Okay. I wouldn't imagine that they share the same space, the same cage. Is that right?
They do.
They do. How big is the cage?
It's pretty big. I got them a bigger cage because there are 3 of them.
And do they come out of the cage sometimes?
Yeah, they like to fly around and be on my shoulder and they like to get
fun.
scratched on their back.
Okay. And so they don't mind you touching them or scratching them or whatever.
One of them really likes to be scratched a lot.
Oh, which one is that?
That's Teeny.
Okay. And is Teeny really teeny?
No, she's actually overweight.
Oh, she is. So it's a little bit of a pun or a play on words, calling her teeny when she's the biggest, probably.
Yeah, she's the biggest.
Okay. What colors? Describe what they look like for our listeners.
Daisy is yellow.
Okay.
Teeny is gray, and we joke and call her a pigeon.
Okay.
And then Leia is yellow and different colors.
Gotcha. Okay. And do any of them, they're not talking birds, are they?
They're cockatiels and they don't usually talk.
Okay. I'm sure you've learned so much about birds, and that's really cool. Oh, I have a big question for you. Can you teach them tricks?
I used to teach Leia to fly to me, but I don't really do that anymore.
Okay. And so do they make noise when you're sleeping? I'm imagining that they're in your room. Is that right?
I cover them up with a blanket at night.
Okay. And so they sleep when you're sleeping?
Yeah.
And that's really fun. I love that you have a routine, probably every afternoon or evening when you get home, that you feed them and you take care of all of their needs. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. What a fun thing. That would bring me a lot of joy too.
Right there with you.
You think
That's
so?
incredible. Birds
Yeah.
are something.
I know. They're so beautiful. And a lot of people really are into birds and set up things in their backyards and have them come. I know I saw at my parents' house, they have a bird feeder right outside their dining room table, the window. So there's an outside bird feeder that's actually for hummingbirds. And I'll have to share that with you later, Andrew. There's a video that I took in slow motion of these hummingbirds. Their wings go so fast. Hummingbirds are interesting to watch, and they're just beautiful. So I'll share that video with you at some point. I'd love to connect with you a little bit more about birds later. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sharing that, Andrew. And then now I'm going to talk to Darian about the thing that brings you a lot of joy. What is that for you? You brought something in to the studio today. Can you describe for the listeners what that is?
Of course I can. So this is a composition book, and the reason it brings me joy is because I get to get things off my chest in a specific kind of way. If I'm going to forget something that I learned throughout a day, or if there's something I want to talk about, when I write it all down, then it helps me to give a clear message. And then I think about what that's going to be like on video or audio. And that brings me joy because I want to get a message across to the world in a way where it meets people where they're needed. Like it really reaches people in a way where, wow, inspiration.
That's right. And we were talking earlier about when you first got a composition book and who taught you about the importance of writing and getting your feelings out and connecting with others through your writing is a really important thing. It's a great skill that you have. And I know that you were saying in elementary school, you were introduced to a composition book. I know our listeners, you know what a composition book. I don't know if everybody has used it, but it's pretty typical in schools to have that black and white speckly with a label on the front that has your name. And those composition books are so awesome to get your thoughts and feelings out. I know there's one thing that you were writing about. You were telling me that you write about Snobsville.
That's right, Snobsville.
I think it's part of you processing the world around you, the community.
And then it's like, what in the world do I do with that? I jot it all down on the composition book, everything I feel. It's not about like jotting it all down, like all the negative energy that I'm feeling and then letting people know, you did this to me and you did that to me and this is really bad. I can't believe you did this. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
This world needs to get it together. But it's a matter of talking about these kind of things shouldn't happen to anyone.
And I locked into that phrase or that title, Snobsville, because I think a lot of people experience the same type of thing. People talk about a Seattle chill. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Seattle
and
freeze.
what does that mean to you, Andrew? You just said yes. So a Seattle chill, what does that mean?
People are just really standoffish.
Yeah. Difficult to get to know.
Yeah.
And just into their own world and not really thoughtful of others. And I think that's where you titled it Snobsville, that people can be a little bit snobby.
Much.
But I think we were talking earlier about sometimes people just don't know how to interact or they don't know how they come across. Sometimes people are intentional with how they treat others. And that's one thing. But there's also times when people just simply are rude and they don't realize it because they're just so focused on themselves that they're not able to see somebody else's perspective.
Exactly.
And so you write about Snobsville and get your feelings out, but then you use it to shoot your videos or talk about your feelings and how you interact with people. And I think that's a really cool and powerful tool that you use.
Thank you. Definitely. It definitely helps to get the message across, but again, it's not about bad-mouthing anyone or making anyone feel bad. It's just, we don't have to be like this.
Yeah.
Certain people are different. They may look a certain way or sound a certain way that may make you feel like I don't really want to know that person. You never really know. I'm not talking about getting like random people off the street or just like anybody like outside, but like people in the community that like peers, acquaintances. It's easy to say you know them, but do you really know them? If you see one thing about them that makes you feel a little slightly off.
Yeah.
Everybody has something about them that's slightly off. We're not
true.
We're not a perfect bag of chips. We've got baggage of stuff, but we don't have baggage of perfection.
You said bag of chips, and I'm actually really hungry right now, but I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the bag of chips and how it's not all full to the top. And sometimes they're all crunched up and they're all like little tiny shards and you're trying to eat your chips. And, there's no perfect bag of chips. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's a great analogy because nobody has their stuff together.
Exactly.
Nobody's perfect. And we're all trying. And one thing that I love about what you put together is that from your perspective, you're teaching other people a little bit more about yourself. Some of the things that I anchor to the most is it's difficult to dislike somebody when you really know their story.
Yeah.
When you know who they are, it's really hard not to like them.
How can you cast judgment then?
Yeah, it's really difficult to cast judgment on somebody else when you know their story.
Exactly.
So I love that you're building empathy for other people in the way that you use your writing. Thanks for bringing your composition book into the studio today.
Of course, with all that to say, that's what brings me joy.
Yep.
The outcome out of doing this.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. We're going to switch gears a little bit and talk to Jay a little more about the things that bring you joy. You talked about video games. Is that right?
I've been playing Nintendo since I was really little.
You have? And do you play some pretty difficult games or?
I'm a huge Mario fan, so mainly Mario.
It's fun because that Mario movie came out. Did you see it?
10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10. Okay.
It's gotten a lot of good reviews, and recently they posted a video and it's gone worldwide.
And that's something that you could enjoy with other people going to the movies and enjoying that if you have common interests. I love that.
I never thought a Nintendo movie would have gone nationwide.
That's
pretty
popular.
really impressive.
It is impressive. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for having this conversation with me about the things that bring you joy. And I'm going to go last to share the thing that I really love and the things that bring me joy. You know what? It's you guys. I have to say that my Saturday mornings, spending time with you, brings me so much joy. I love seeing your skill development. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing about the things that you're growing and changing and learning about. I love the plans that you've created for yourselves. Some people going off to college, some people getting different jobs, some people having aspirations to build skills like you, Darian, to become a motivational speaker. All of these things that we're doing together, from the podcast to the videos you're creating, your script writing, it's amazing. It brings me a lot of joy. So thank you for doing this with me. It's a really fun journey, and I'm excited to continue it with you into the summer. So today is our last day for our class for the quarter. So congratulations on all that you are doing, what you're building, how you're learning, and how you're connecting with each other to build our community. It's pretty awesome. All right, that's it for now. Thank you for participating, and thank you, listeners, for taking the time to join in. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll check in with you later. Take care. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Launch Buddies podcast. We hope you enjoyed our lively discussion about our favorite things that bring us joy and foster social connections.
Remember, it's the little moments of joy that make life truly special. So let's take some time to explore what brings you happiness and share it with others. You never know the impact it can have to brighten the world around you.
Absolutely, Andrew. We want to express our heartfelt gratitude to our amazing buddies who joined us today and shared their joy-filled experiences. Your stories inspire us and remind us of the power of connection.
And a big thank you to our listeners for tuning in and being a part of our Launch Buddies community. We appreciate your support and encourage you to keep spreading positivity wherever you go. Don't forget to share this podcast with others on your own social media platforms or a simple text about this episode.
Yes, make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more of our exciting episodes, insightful discussions, and inspiring stories on the Launch Buddies podcast.
Yes, and don't forget to check out www.mykeyplans.com for additional resources and information to help other young adults develop their plans for life after high school.
Until next time, keep chasing those moments of joy, connecting with others, and embracing the journey of self-discovery. This is Darian, Barb, and Andrew signing off. Take care and have a fantastic day.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.